What's up guys, Mitchell Watts with Town & Country TV, and today we're going to be talking about the Lightning, but not just any particular topic on the Lightning. We're going to be talking about the technology. So this is probably one of the most revolutionary vehicles that Ford has come out with in years. I'm talking about this thing is a game changer. And with that, they debuted a lot of different technologies. What we're going to do in this video, it's going to be a long video, but I'm going to make it easy for you guys. We're going to go over and discuss every technology that I hopefully don't forget about. And we're going to tell you what it is, what it does, how to turn it on, how to turn it off. And the best thing is we're going to leave some time cards down below so that way you can skip around to the topic that you are interested in. So without further ado, let's jump inside the vehicle and show you everything that we know about the new F-150 Lightning. In this video, we are going to go over this massive 15.5-inch touchscreen. We are also going to go over the instrument cluster here and how to control both of these, as well as the technologies that are managed through these two screens. So without further ado, let's go ahead and start with this one, the instrument cluster. To manage the instrument cluster, you are going to be using these buttons right here on the steering wheel. So located over here, you've got your driver assist buttons. Basically, you have your cruise control, you turn it on, turn it off with that. You set your speed with the set up and down, and then you also can adjust the adaptive cruise control, the distance between you and that vehicle in front of you, with that button right there. This is going to be your lane keeping button located right here. You've got your volume up and volume down for the normal stereo system, and you've also got your voice activation. That's how you can use the things like Siri or the voice recognition for your phone, or also the voice recognition in the vehicle itself. Located over here, well, you know what, let's cover these buttons last. This is where you can hang up and answer phone calls, as well as changing the song or the radio station located with those buttons right here. These buttons right here completely control this instrument cluster that's located right here. So if you are looking at a screen that looks very similar to this is going to be the calm screen. It's designed to not have nearly as much information. You basically have your range left, your 78% battery left on this EV vehicle, and exactly how fast you're going, as well as a couple of other things like your odometer and, you know, whether you're in driver, you're in park, and then also your exterior temperature. Not nearly as many different items. But if you come in here and use these buttons right here, let's say if you just click on the up or the down button, watch what happens. It goes back into the normal menu. And so if I hit down, you keep going to this trip, tire pressure, it just kind of goes through all of these different menus that you have here, okay? So that's all I'm doing is pressing that down button, and you will cycle through those different screens. If you hit the menu button, you get to see all of your options in one place instead of scrolling through them. So if you want to adjust and customize a particular view, that's what that is. Click on that menu button again, and you can go down to trip and see the different trip meters. Hit the menu button again, you can go into different truck information like driver assistance. Hit the menu button again, you can go into towing, navigation, all of those different settings is located inside using these particular buttons. The way you want to look at this instrument cluster is everything for your trip is managed out of this particular screen, whereas over here is how you control the vehicle itself. So this controls your trip and where you're going, you know, the miles and everything that's going on with the drive. This controls the vehicle itself. So without further ado, let's go ahead and show you the main way to navigate this massive screen. The first thing I want to do with this screen is kind of give you the layout of where everything is located. So that way you feel a little bit more comfortable about navigating this particular screen. Your two main buttons that you're going to find are going to be located right here and right here. You'll also have a couple of tiles located in this general area. But this button, if you click on it, is going to do a couple of different things. It gives you a bunch of different settings over here on the side with a sub-menu here in the middle. And then you can tab over to the settings and you can change things like your sound, the radio, you can look at all of your different information for charging, personal profiles, driver assistance. We're going to dive into each one of these, but I want you to know how to navigate, like I said, on an upper-ended level, just basically a high-level view of how do you get around. So we know what this button does. You tap it to go into the menu, tap it to get out of the menu. You have this button located right here. You tap it, and you've got a couple of your more popular buttons that you will probably be pressing a little bit more frequently. And so, once again, tap it again to get out of it. It's pretty simple. Open the menu, close the menu, open the menu, close the menu. So either way. Now the first thing you're probably going to want to do is connect your phone to the vehicle itself. And to do that, you obviously need to get your phone out and you want to make sure that you see this Apple CarPlay button right here. By the way, I just got through doing a master reset on this vehicle, so that way I know that this screen is going to look just like your F-150 Lightning that you just purchased or are thinking about purchasing. By the way, a lot of this information is also carried over inside of the Mustang Mach-E, because this is the Sync 4A system. The A actually denotes that it is the vertical screen instead of the 12-inch horizontal screen. At this point, I hope you're getting a little bit of value out of the video, and if you don't mind, do me a huge favor and hit that thumbs up button. It really does go a long way in promoting this video to other people who need to see this kind of content. So go ahead and smash that thumbs up button before we go any further. But either way, let's show you what it looks like to pair your phone up. So you'll come in here to connect, and it's going to give you a list. It says, hey, you know, to select a phone, add. All right, so we're going to click on the phone list to add my particular phone to this vehicle. And as you can see, there's no phones currently added, so I'm going to click on Add Phone.
Search for your vehicle on your device and select it once it is found.
I happen to be using an iPhone, so I'm going to go into my Bluetooth menu, and when I do that, it will see a pop-up at Ford F-150 Lightning. Go ahead and click on that.
Confirm that the pin displayed on Sync matches the pin displayed on your device.
Hit pair between both of these. I'm going to go ahead and allow contacts and favorites to sync. I'm not really worried about people seeing my contacts. You'll see on my phone it says use CarPlay with F-150 Lightning. Make sure you click on that use CarPlay if that's something you're interested in. The other thing is 911 assist. You want to go ahead and turn that to on. What that is heaven forbid you're in an accident and the airbags deploy, or if you were in a gas variant vehicle, if the fuel cutoff switch was engaged, the vehicle will call 911 for you on your behalf, even if you're not able to, and they will actually triangulate your cell phone and locate exactly where you are, but it only does that if you turn that feature on and your paired phone is in the vehicle. By the way, that's a feature you'll never have to pay for. All right, so your iPhone supports Apple CarPlay. Yes, we definitely want to enable the CarPlay because that is a big feature on this particular vehicle, is the wireless Apple CarPlay. And as you can see, you've got the wireless Apple CarPlay is activated right here. Now I want to show you another thing that this is the normal size for most Apple CarPlays, but if you're wanting a bigger version of this, you have that little 4 arrow button exploding located right there. If you tap that, it gives you a bigger version of Apple CarPlay, which I think is really nice. Now you'll notice you still have your tiles located down here as you slide back and forth. That is still available to you, but they get bigger and smaller based on which version or which way you're looking at it. So that is kind of nice. Let's do this now. I want to take a look at the next biggest thing that you're probably going to want to do, and that is controlling the air conditioner inside of the vehicle. You'll notice that your air conditioner controls are located here towards the very bottom half of the screen, and they always will be. This is the permanent location for those. So you've got your temperature where you can adjust your temperature. So once you tap on one of these, it actually pops up a slider where you can adjust it here quickly if you want. And as you can tell, you've got dual climate. So this side will control the passenger, this side will control the driver. And if you wanted to set it to automatic, you can do that. You've got 3 speeds for the automatic. You have high, low, and or high, medium, and low, rather. Apparently, I don't know my differences there. But the reason you want to know that is you can say, hey, I want to set it at exactly 71 degrees, and I want the automatic portion to be the lowest fan speed possible, but it'll still do what it can to keep you at a 71 degrees for the driver's side. And if you turn it to the high version, it'll allow the air conditioner to flow a lot harder to get you to that desired temperature a lot faster. That's why you have 3 different levels for automatic. A lot of people don't really realize that. If you tap right here, you can actually adjust exactly where you want the climate control. If you want it to be driver focused, there you go. You got driver focused for your particular situation. If you want, you can actually adjust it to your your defrost, if you will. You've got the face vents, and then you've also got the feet, so you can control this however that you want to. But I'm going to set driver focus since I'm the only one in the vehicle at this current point in time. So that is a much underutilized button right here that you can kind of customize it. And look at the graphics on this thing, guys. This thing is a fantastic look as far as that is concerned. Located down here at the very, very bottom, you have a couple of different buttons. You have your climate control for the seats. So if you wanted to turn on the heated seats, you can do that. You can do the same thing for the passenger. So air conditioned or ventilated as well as heated seats. I'm going to go ahead and turn that off because you can see it's got an extra fan that blows that ventilated seat. You have the heated steering wheel located right here. You have a manual control for the fan speed located right here. Max defrost. You got the rear defrost, and that pretty much is it for the climate control. So let's say that you're in a nervous situation, you're kind of navigating traffic, and this big old screen is just kind of, it's too much. You want to kind of go to the calm screen. Well, there is a way that you can navigate through this screen and find exactly where that calm screen is. Or you can do this. You see this little dial for the volume? Yes, this is the dial for the volume. But if you press that dial in and rotate it, it automatically turns on the calm screen, so you can very quickly, very easily minimize everything except for your air conditioner controls. I love that feature, and I think that is one of the most hidden and underutilized features is that calm screen. And the fact that you have a really quick, easy way to get to it is awesome. If you need to get out of the calm screen, just tap on the screen and you're back to normal. Or, you know, once again, you press the dial in and turn it to the side. And if you do it again, it's supposed to. Nope. There it goes. It just took it a minute. You can get in and out by pressing that dial in, and while it's pushed in, you rotate it to either side. That's how you get in and out of the calm screen as quickly as possible. Now, I want to take a step back and I want to look at these tiles again for a second. These tiles are going to adapt to what you use the most. So when you buy your F-150 Lightning, I believe you get 2 keys. And what they do is they can determine what this particular key or this particular person is doing in the vehicle. In the driver's side door, you have the lock and unlock button, but you also happen to have 3 different memory seating. And if you set up, like for me, if I set the memory number 1 up to my preferences, I can do that. And then guess what? These tiles will automatically adjust based on memory 1. If my wife gets in there and uses memory 2 every single time, these preferences will adapt and change based on what her normal frequently used things are. I think that's a fantastic idea that Ford had, and it's something that you might need to consider. But as you can see, it's got, you know, the radio is something that it recommends. You tap on that and you can see the AM, FM radio comes up. I don't know anybody that really uses the radio anymore, but you'll notice you've got your presets located right here as well. So you can change from AM radio to FM radio to satellite radio all with one thing. Now, I also want to reiterate that using the voice activation button on the steering wheel, you can control the radio station based on your voice. So let's say you wanted to listen to some hard rock. Let's say you want to listen to Octane. Press the voice button, not tap it, don't hold it. Octane.
Tuning to Octane.
So if you know the name of the station or the number of the station, it'll change for you automatically. Now, obviously, I can't play this for copyright reasons, but notice that it just changed for you. And once again, if you wanted to change it to a country station on FM, 104.7.
Tuning to FM 104.7.
And it can go anywhere you need it to go with your voice activation. That's where I'm going to be using most of the radio controls. Now, if that's not enough, you even can control Siri, obviously with your phone by clicking and hold the thing. But if you click and hold that same voice activation button, you can activate Siri straight through this thing. So once again, I'm not touching my cell phone. It's located right here, so I'm not going to touch it. If I click and hold that voice button, play Shine Down.
Shine Down now playing on Apple Music.
How cool is that? You can control everything right there. Everything is voice activated, whether it's the voice activation with the system or voice activation with your Siri or your Google Assistant, whatever it is, you can use that straight through this system, and I absolutely love that. All right, so now that we've covered the Apple CarPlay, and I'm sorry I don't have an Android Auto, I don't have Android, so I'm sorry I don't have that to display for you guys. I'm just kind of showing you what I have. A lot of this works very, very similar. But now that we've covered Apple CarPlay, we've covered these tiles, we've covered the radio, we've covered the climate control, I want to go over this menu first. So you've got this little button up here in the top dead center, and you can control different things like coming into your radio. You can control things like going into the phone menu. You can control things like the OEM Ford factory navigation system. You can pretty much see what's going on. It takes you through each one of these menus. And by the way, the more you select any of these particular menus, that is what's going to alter and update what you have located on these tiles. Once again, these tiles are the recommendations based on what you use the most. And so these will adapt and automatically update based on what you select on a consistent basis. But I'm not going to go into all of the details, but you can kind of see how to navigate each one of these. This is one thing that I really do like. It's maybe a little bit redundant based on what you can find in the instrument cluster, but it does tell you a little bit more information. So 42% of our battery for this particular trip is going to climate control. That's because I just did a master reset and we've not been driving the vehicle anywhere. So it's based on what I have done over the past 56 minutes as I'm making and recording this video. But you can see what's going on with your particular trip, this trip overall, and then trip number 2. Once again, I've been sitting here for this whole time, so don't pay any attention to that. But this is how you navigate each one of these different things. You also happen to have the owner's manual. Because an F-150 Lightning is so technologically advanced with this particular screen, they have actually minimized the normal owner's manual, and it is significantly smaller than it has been in the years past. This is the whole owner's manual. You look how small this is. It used to be that the owner's manual was this thick. Well, what they've done is they've given you the ability to see all of your owner's manual located in the screen. So you can look at different categories and find different things that you want to learn about the vehicle, or you can just watch this video, or you can watch videos about particular options and things like that that's available on the vehicle. So let's say if you wanted to look at trailer sway control. Now this is all cloud-based, and so if you have like a little bit of a buffer, which actually this didn't have a buffer at all, but...
Is there any way to keep my trailer from swaying?
Is there any way to reduce the sway from my trailer? For those of you who like to tow, Ford has something that can help reduce how much your trailer sways while you're driving. Here's how it works. If your trailer starts to sway, you'll see the stability.
We're not going to, whoa, it defaulted straight to the radio after that. I apologize. But, you know, we're not going to sit here and watch each one of these videos, but that is where you can find out more information, and you can also search this. So let's say you're wanting to learn more about adaptive cruise. You can type in adaptive, and let's see what shows up. Adaptive cruise control precautions, adaptive cruise limitations. Because you have this searchability, I would argue this is better than the traditional version of an owner's manual. I love the fact that you can search this particular menu. But yeah, that's your owner's manual located right there. You even have games if you want to. I will go ahead and tell you the games are not the best. I mean, you know, you can tell they spend all of their time and energy based on making a very, very good vehicle. Ford, let's go ahead and stick to making vehicles and not games. But hey, it's a cool party trick, you know whatever. But yeah, anyway, so let's go ahead and now focus in on this other menu, which is going to be the driver assist menu. I say driver assist, there's more than just driver assist in here. But the very first thing that comes up every time you hit this button is going to be your drive modes. Drive modes are normal, sport, off-road, tow haul. Those are going to be your different drive modes. I was kind of going through those and clicking through them pretty quickly. But if you're not sure, what does sport mode do? You can actually click on the eye next to it, and it gives you a synopsis of what's going on. For spirited and engaged driving, enhanced vehicle acceleration performance, and driving dynamics. If that's what you're into, go ahead and tap on it, and it will automatically change the parameters of the vehicle to get you a more sporty feel. If you scroll down a little bit, you have got the one pedal drive. That's another thing I wanted to talk about. One pedal drive, if you're not familiar, gives you the ability to drive the vehicle pretty much with just one pedal. The idea there with the one pedal drive is that if you are wanting to cruise on the interstate, you have to leave your foot on that accelerator ever so slightly. When you let your foot off of the accelerator pedal, the regenerative braking will automatically kick in to slow you down. Now, if you still need to slam on the brakes in an emergency situation, that is still a possibility. But by and large, you can pretty much operate that vehicle completely in just one pedal drive. Well, sorry about the phone call. Probably should have put my phone on Do Not Disturb, but I didn't. Anyways, so that is what the one pedal drive is. The next thing that I want to talk about is the locking differential. Just like on a normal F-150, you can opt for a locking differential. And what that does is that basically takes the two rear tires and it locks them together so that way they both are spinning. The idea there is if they both are locked and spinning at the exact same speed, you will get extra traction in case you need it if you're trying to pull a heavy boat out of a boat ramp or if you're off-roading. That's what the locking differential is. But if you don't remember later on, click on that eye and it tells you that it locks the rear axle so both rear wheels spin at the same speed, providing more traction in an off-road terrain. Sounds exactly like what I just said. But anyways, so that is going to be the first tile, which is the drive modes. Now let's talk about the camera. You tap into this and it obviously gives you a 360-degree view of the cameras. Now keep in mind that if your vehicle is equipped differently than this one is, that you may not have a 360 camera. It may be just the rear view camera, because that is standard. You've got your parking sensors on and off. That's the, when you're trying to pull on up to a particular vehicle. Why did it turn off there? But as I start to inch forward, you will see the parking sensors start beeping. That's what that button right there is that is designed to turn those parking sensors, the beep, 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 on and off. Now the other thing is you have this button right here, which is auto parking brake ready. Basically this vehicle, if it notices that you're about to hit something, like back into a little Johnny's bicycle, if that's turned on, it will actually, in some situations, stop you from backing into that obstacle that is behind you. And I think it may also work in front of you. Don't test that because I'm not 100% sure. This menu button located right here allows you to change which camera you're looking at. So as you can see here, I can look at or actually I just turned it off, but you can look at your 360-degree camera, you can look at just your front camera, you can look at a 180-degree view of your front camera, you even can come in here and look and see what's in the bed of your truck. This particular Lightning has a bed cover on the back, so obviously I'm staring at the top of a bed cover, but if you're needing to see what's going on back there, you have that ability by changing it out, located right here. You have the backup camera located here. You have a zoomed in version so that way you can see as you're backing the truck up to your trailer. Make sure that you get that truck to the trailer every single time the first time. And then I saved this one for last. This is the extra camera that you can purchase as a Ford accessory. If you wanted to take that camera, you can mount it behind your trailer, and so that way you've got a backup camera behind your trailer, which I think is a pretty sweet little setup. But that's what those little buttons are located right there. Next up is the access located right here. You have a couple of different things. You can have your charging cord locked so that way someone can't go in and unplug the charging port while you're trying to charge up, and if you need to, you can unlock it right here. Obviously we're not hooked up to a charger right now, so that is not an option, but you do have the option to turn the charge port light on and off. And as you can see, when the setting is turned on, the light for the charge port turns on while charging and shows the charging progress. So that is nice that you can see that progress located right there, and I think that's a feature you probably would want to leave on. Towing. This is a very interesting one because there's a lot going on in this particular menu. You have the ability to add different trailers. And the reason you might want to add a different trailer, let's say you wanted to say, this is my ATV trailer. And when you do that, you can talk about how long your trailer is. You can talk about how wide it is, how tall it is, how much it weighs, which you shouldn't be towing a 35,000-pound trailer, but you have that ability. And you also can take a look at this. Once you confirm this, well, you might want to wonder why. Why are you doing? Would you set up a particular trailer? There's a couple different reasons. The main reason is it will allow the F-150 Lightning to automatically adapt and update the algorithm so that we can accurately tell you how many miles worth of range you have left. That is the primary function of that. You can tab here and you can change your different trailers and all of that kind of stuff. You can go through a connection checklist or a trailer checklist so that way you don't forget anything. Hey, connect and lock the ball coupler. Make all electrical connections. Cross and connect safety chains. Connect emergency breakaway switch. Ensure the lights function correctly. Raise the tongue jack. Remove the wheel chocks. Adjust the mirrors. Adjust the trailer brake control gain setting. It's really nice if you've got someone that's really novice in towing a trailer. It's nice that you have that. Now, for me or for a lot of people out there, probably not going to use that, but it is nice that you have it there. And you can see, once again, I don't have a trailer hooked up to this thing, but you can have the truck can check the trailer lights for you, which I think is pretty cool. So you can start that, but it's not going to work because I don't have a trailer hooked up to it. But that is going to be what's going on inside of the towing menu. Now, let's take a look at the zone lighting. Zone lighting works like this. Once again, it's light outside, so I don't have the ability to show you this, but you can actually, well, I guess I can disable the lights themselves, and you can turn on the zone lighting so that way when you turn the feature on, you can say, hey, I want to add some extra lighting in the front of the vehicle. This is really good if you're going camping or if you're in a field and it's dark outside, or even if you're in a parking lot and you're just trying to find, have light illuminated all the way around the vehicle. You have the ability to turn these different zones on and off so that way you can see all the way around different zones of the vehicle. And as you can see, you've got that button where you can turn them all on or turn them all off right there. And you can also adjust the settings inside of this. So if you wanted to adjust those settings, we're going to come into this a little bit later. You know what, let's just go ahead and jump into this right now. You can adjust your auto high beam, you can adjust your daytime running lamps, your welcome lighting. All of this information is completely customizable. I love that Ford gave us the ability to adjust so many different things on the vehicle. And we're not going to dive into the locks and things like that because that's not what we're doing right now. We're going to come to that here in a second. But once again, I tab out, tab back in, and it gets me back to that, to that main menu, if you will. Let's go into Pro Power Onboard. Pro Power Onboard is a very important feature on this vehicle. Because the F-150 Lightning has got such a big battery pack, depending on which version of the Lightning you buy, it gives you the ability to power a lot of different things, even your house if you've got the proper options and equipment for it. But as you can see, you can turn the plugs on in the front. You can turn the plugs on in the bed of the truck, and you'll notice that the plugs inside the cab are automatically activated. You can see your circuits for the front. You can see all of what's going on in here. There's a couple different things that I want to point out to you. The vehicle power down timer automatically turns off the vehicle after 30 minutes if it's left in.
Could you say that again? I'm having trouble.
So my Siri, Apple Watch, is listening to me. Apparently, she might be getting jealous that I'm using this nice new software. Oh, that was such a terrible dad joke. But anyways, the vehicle power down timer will automatically shut off the vehicle after 30 minutes if it's left unattended. You can turn that on, turn it off. But this is what I have had a lot of people ask me questions about, the Pro Power Reserve setting. So the idea there is, let's say you've got something plugged into the vehicle and you're powering your job site, you're powering your work site, and what happens if it drains the, I leave it plugged in and I forget, and now I'm stranded on the side of the road because I can't get anywhere because I used up all my power. Well, that's not going to happen if you're smart, because you can actually come in here and change the reserve settings. The idea there is the Pro Power Onboard. You know what? I want you to power all the things that I've got plugged in, but make sure you leave me 50 miles so that way I can get to wherever I'm going. So that way, if I'm charging stuff and I'm doing stuff at my job site or whatever the situation is, if the vehicle recognizes it's using too much power and I've only got 50 miles left until empty, it'll turn off all of those switches so that way you can still get to the nearest charger. And by the way, that is an adjustable number, as you can see here. You can even say, hey, you know what, I only want to, to use the battery down to 125 miles worth of range. It's all customizable. So you can manually select it, or you can manually come in here and change it to default, which is, I think, 0 or 43 or whatever it is. But you can change it to the nearest charging station. So that way, if you're not sure how many miles you need until, you can make it automatically adapt to what's going on in that particular situation. That way you'll never get stranded on the side of the road. So I think that's pretty cool. And you can also do a ground fault test. This is kind of nerdy stuff that I'm not going to get into, but just know that's where this ground fault test, these button tests test the outlets for proper operation of ground fault protection. So yeah, we're not really going to test that right now, but you have that ability, and it's located inside of Pro Power Onboard. Next up, let's talk about parking. Parking works a couple of different ways. You got the parking sensors here. You can navigate to a particular parking deck or whatever the situation is. You can search for parking. In rural Alabama, you're not going to use this much, but if you live in the city, this might be something that's nice to have. But once again, Alabama doesn't really have anything good to show you there because parking is plentiful. But you have that as an option located right here. But if you click on additional settings, it'll bring up the driver assist for the parking. So as you can see, you got the parking aid sensors for the front. You want those always on. Rear sensors always on. So you've got those settings located right there. Once again, you tap it to get out of there, tap it again to get in, and you're back to this main menu. Going down here to Valet Mode, this is really nice if you've got your home address saved in here, you got a lot of personal information saved in here, and you don't want the valet to know what's going on, but you still want them to be able to drive the vehicle. You can say, hey, you know what, I'm going to enter in a 4-digit PIN, top secret number, so that way only someone that knows that PIN can unlock the screen. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ooh, that's top secret. 1, 2, 3, 4. And now, watch what's going to happen. You can see everything's locked down. The only thing you can adjust is the air conditioner. You can't tap on the menu button that we've been talking about this whole time. You can't tap on this menu button. You have to type in 1, 2, 3, 4 to unlock the screen, so that way you don't have to worry about that creepy valet guy figuring out where you live. I think that's really nice. It's not a brand new feature, but it's something that I absolutely love. So that takes care of all of these different tiles located on the left-hand side of the controls menu. Now let's take a deep dive into the settings menu. This settings menu has got a lot of different tiles in here as well. And once again, we're going to go through all of these menus. And if you've made it this far in the video, I'm hoping that means that you found some kind of value in this video. Do me a huge favor, go ahead and smash that thumbs up button, because it really does help this video make it to other people that really need to see it. So thank you for just taking, it doesn't cost you anything, just click on that thumbs up button. All right, so we're in settings. Once again, to get here, you clicked on this little F-150 logo up here at the top. You clicked on settings over here, tab over to the settings, and I'm gonna start from the top. So the very first thing you'll see is the sound. You can adjust, the balance and the fade, front to back, side to side. That sounds like a wedding song. But you have the ability to adjust that or reset it back to normal. You can come in here to the tone. You can adjust the treble up a little bit, a little bit like this and a little bit like that, and get it exactly like you like it. That is what this is boiled down to. You also have speed compensated volume. So what this is a feature that when you start to drive faster, you're gonna have a little bit more wind noise. And you can have it to where, you know what, if I go 100 miles an hour, I want it to be the same volume of the speakers, you'd want to turn that off. if you want the speakers to get a little bit louder as you speed up on the interstate, you can adjust how aggressive that is by selecting these particular buttons right here. So that's what the speed compensated volume is. Sound mode, you can change it from stereo to surround sound. I'll just leave it on stereo. I don't think it's that big of a deal either way. But yeah, that's what the sound menu has got for you right there. Now let's take a look at the radio. In here, you can turn on the heavy duty. Oh my goodness, the high definition radio. You can set how many rows of presets you want in here. You can even adjust the radio text, which displays the information about the current FM radio broadcast if it's available. I'm really not concerned about that. Phone list, this is another popular one that you probably get into a lot. So if you've got your vehicle or your phone paired up to the vehicle rather, you can see what's going on with that particular phone. You can see mine's hooked up. You can look at the settings if you want to. I don't want to remove mine, but you have that ability. That's where you would remove the phone if you're interested in doing that. Not a whole lot to look at here, but that add phone icon right there, that is where you'd want to add multiple phones. And yes, you can have multiple phones paired up to one vehicle. Let's go into charge. This is going to be a big one based on the fact that we're in an F-150 Lightning. So when this vehicle will charge when it's plugged in. As you can see, we're at 76% state of charge. We have 88 miles worth of range. The reason it thinks that, once again, is because I've been sitting in this vehicle without it moving after I did a massive reset or a master reset. And so the range is all kind of wrong. This is not even close to right, but that's only because I just did a master reset. Don't pay attention to that. The one-time max charge limit. That is exactly what it sounds like. If you say, hey, you want the next time that I plug this thing in, I only want it to charge up to 80%, you would change it to 80%. You would save that setting, and then the next time I plug it in, it'll charge it all the way up, but it's going to stop at 80%. This is a fun thing if you're just needing to adjust your charge limit just that one time. Once again, that only does that one time. EV driving history. If you've had a crazy person in your car driving it and they've been driving it like crazy and you want to reset the algorithm based on the range of 88 miles, you would click and hold that and it will reset how many miles it thinks of range you have left. And as you can see, it just dropped down to 87 because once again, we're not moving. But if you were moving, that would be a great thing to reset every so often. Departure and comfort. This is a really cool one. You have the ability to, in this vehicle, to adjust the temperature of the vehicle and at specific times. So let's say that I know that I go to work, I leave for work every morning at 7 a.m. I can come in here on a Monday, I can change it to 7 p.m. Nope, I want to slide it over to a.m. and I want it to cool off at 7 a.m. You save that, and guess what? Every Monday morning at 7 a.m., the vehicle will automatically crank up and cool off the cabin to make it comfortable for you. So I think that's a pretty cool setting. Now, the other thing that you have is the charging locations underneath that as well. So what you can do in this particular menu is add a location. So that way, like let's say I charge at home and also at the office. You can actually set up the charging rules for the location that you're charging it up. So let's say that if I'm at home, when I charge, I only want it to charge to 80% and I only want to charge between 9 p.m. and 5 a.m. You can set up all of those rules so that way the vehicle will automatically do that for you. Now, I just did that master reset, so it doesn't have any history of me charging this vehicle. But once you've charged it, it'll show you multiple different locations. You can choose that location and choose the rules that you want it to have happen in that particular location. This is going to be one of the biggest menus that most people need to operate off of, and that is going to be the charging location underneath the settings. Next up, let's talk about personal profiles. This is a great opportunity if you wanted to set up a husband and a wife, or a spouse, and they have the ability to have multiple people for this particular vehicle, and they can automatically adjust the range based on that person or that profile's ability to drive, whether this person drives faster, this person drives slower, and it can automatically make intelligent suggestions for you. So let's say I want to create a profile. I want to name this one myself, Mitchell. and I want this to be that memory seat. Remember those memory buttons we talked about a little bit earlier? I want to tap that one, this one, so I'm going to be number 1. And the next thing that it'll do is it'll say, okay, make it easier to see your profile is active. You have the ability to select an avatar, so I think that's a cool looking one, so let's roll with that. And intelligent suggestion and learning is gonna change your learning habits. As you use your vehicle, intelligent suggestions will provide suggestions based on how often you use this feature. Do you want to opt in? Yes or no? Absolutely yes. All right, so you can even link the key fob. So if I take the key out, it says to link the profile with this key fob, press the lock button on your key fob. There we go. So now this particular key fob is mine. And now the other one can be my wife's or my kids or whoever you want to have it. Now everything will start to automatically adjust based on that. And if right now until I add another profile, everybody else using the other key is just going to be a guest. And so I think this is something that every single EV owner of a Ford vehicle needs to be using. So cool stuff on that personal profiles. Now let's talk about driver assistance. This is going to be a big one. It's actually an easy one to understand. It's just got a lot of cool features in a very short period of time in a very small location. So underneath driver assistance, auto hold. Auto hold is going to be the feature where if you will come to a stop, you're at the drive-thru and you are trying to get your cheeseburger. It's a bunch of stop and go, stop and go, stop and go. Instead of having to hold your foot on the brake and leave it there, if you turn on auto hold, you come to a complete stop, let your foot off the brake, the vehicle will maintain your location. It automatically holds those brakes for you until you tap on the accelerator pedal, and then it'll start creeping on for you. So it's really nice if you've got a lot of stop and go situation. The cruise control, you've got 3 different menus, or I guess 2 for you, because this one's not equipped with a Blue Cruise. But you have normal cruise control, and if you heard that, it said normal cruise control active, active braking is not working. So, or they turn it off basically. So if you're one of the old school kind of people that don't want adaptive cruise to work, you just want the normal cruise control, that's where you would change that. But I really like the adaptive cruise control. And then when you have adaptive cruise control on, you can choose to have lane centering on and off. Now that lane centering button is also a redundant button that is located on the steering wheel. So just know that on the steering wheel, that lane centering button that we talked about earlier in the video is right there. Speed sign recognition is exactly what it sounds like. The truck can actually read the speed limit signs on the side of the road, and it can automatically adjust the speed of your cruise control based on the speed limit of the current area that you're in. This is a really cool feature. However, sometimes you go into a quick speed trap and then it goes back, and you may not want it to go from 70 to 45 and then back up to 70 real quick. You might want to consider sliding on through there. I don't like the speed sign recognition, if I can just be very, very blunt. I think it kind of frustrates me more than it does anything else, but it is an option and it is actually cool. It's just not for me. So anyway, speed limit assist. This is basically a feature that pops up on the instrument cluster that flashes the speed limit sign if you are breaking the speed limit. And you can actually set a tolerance. So if you're like, you know what, I just want to be warned if I'm going 10 miles an hour over the speed limit, well, too bad it only goes up to 5. So if the speed limit is 70, at 75 miles an hour, it'll start flashing at you saying, hey, you need to slow down. Now, it's not audible, but it is a nice visual, just in case you realize or forget that, that you might be breaking the speed limit. Pre-collision assist is exactly what it sounds like. This is using the radar sensors in the front bumper to look at the vehicles in front of you. And if it and it also, by the way, uses some cameras located in the windshield as well. And if the vehicle determines that it thinks you're about to get into a wreck, it can also actively brake for you if you have that turned on. So pre-collision assist, you need to turn that feature on. If you want this distance indication, I believe turn that on. Automatic emergency braking, yes, you definitely want that on. Evasive steering assist, you can turn that on and off. That basically is not going to swerve you out of the way, but if you start swerving, the truck will help you get all the way around that object. And then the alert sensitivity, I actually like to keep that alert sensitivity high because I would much rather the vehicle go off on accident than risk getting in an accident. If that's logical. So another feature that I always turn on in every one of my vehicles is the rear view camera delay. What this is if you're in reverse and you want to start creeping forward, let's say you're trying to get into a parking space and it requires a couple of back up, pull forward, back up, pull forward. If you leave that camera delay turned on, the cameras will actually stay on the screen longer until you get up to a normal speed or until you put the vehicle in park. Blind spot information system is exactly what it sounds like. There are radars that are located in the backside of the vehicle. Depending on what vehicle it is different locations. But those radar sensors are looking for people that are in your blind spot. If it identifies someone in your blind spot, you're going to have an amber light that is located in either one of your side rear view mirrors that warns you that someone is in your blind spot. You don't need to get in, change lanes because you will be getting in an accident. Park aid sensors is kind of what we already went over. Those front sensors, you can turn those on always or turn them off always. But why would you not want those on? I love that feature. You need to leave those on, in my opinion. Cross traffic alert. This actually goes back into the feature that we looked at just a second ago. So blind spot information system and cross traffic alert, those two features actually utilize the exact same technology. Those radar sensors in the back of the vehicle look towards the side. Cross traffic alert works like this. You're backing out of a parking space. The truck is sending that radar out to the side to see if there's anybody crossing you as you're trying to back out of that parking space. That's why they call it cross traffic alert. As you're backing up, it's trying to see if anybody's going to T-bone you as you back out of that parking spot. Yet another feature that I would absolutely recommend leaving on, because if it sees someone coming, it'll give you an audible it'll alert you saying someone's coming, and can even tell you what side they're coming from. So if it saves you from one accident, it is worth it. Reverse brake assist. It's exactly what it sounds like. When you're backing up out of a parking space or backing up through the drive-through or driveway rather, and there's something there, there's an object there, the vehicle can actually apply the brakes for you so that way you don't back into little Johnny's bike in the driveway. Driver alert is exactly what it sounds like. If the truck sees that you're swerving all over the road a lot based on the lines in the road, this driver alert, if turned on, will populate a warning, says, hey, we notice you've been swerving a lot. You need to pull over and get some coffee, get some caffeine, or you need to take a rest. Now let's take a look at the vehicle button. The vehicle button has quite a few other different features. It's not necessarily like the driver assistance, but it controls the vehicle itself. The vehicle power down timer. So just like in the gas variant of the vehicle, if you've been sitting idle, not moving for 30 minutes, the vehicle will automatically turn itself off. If you want to override that feature, you can turn that off, but every time you get in the vehicle and crank it up, you have to hit that button every single time. It's designed to be a safety feature so that way you don't accidentally leave the vehicle running. That's what it boils down to. Valet zone limits. I'm actually not familiar with this particular feature, so let's just take a look at it. Restricts the speed and acceleration of your vehicle when valet mode is active. That is so cool. I did not know that was an option, and I'm so glad that they have made that as an option. For example, if the driver takes the vehicle outside the defined area, the maximum speed is 40 miles an hour. That is so cool. You need to turn that feature on. Rear occupant alert. This is, if you don't have kids, you might want to turn this feature off. If you have kids, this is a great feature to have. Basically, it's a reminder when you get out of the vehicle. Let me go ahead and turn the vehicle off. So as you can see, check rear seats for occupants. It's designed to help be a reminder so that we don't leave your kid in a very, very hot car. The key detection alert. So this sounds the horn when you exit the vehicle with a key after the last door is closed and your keyless vehicle is in run, indicating the vehicle is still on. I hate that feature, and the fact they give you the ability to turn that off is awesome. You can actually turn that off, get out of the car, and the horn's not going off to remind you, hey dummy, you left your vehicle on. If you want that feature on, you can turn it on, turn it off. It's pretty cool. Easy entry, easy exit. This basically, if I turn the vehicle off, does the seat and the steering wheel move out of the way to make it easier to get in and out of the vehicle? Pretty self-explanatory. mach-e is one of the most underutilized features I've ever seen. It is a fantastic feature and nobody seems to use it. I can't click on create mach-e because that will lock this particular key down. But what mach-e is, it is a suite of different technologies that help younger drivers or people that you may just not trust that much with driving. And so the idea there is you create a mach-e, it turns this particular key into a, call it a learner's permit key. And what it can do is it can limit the overall top speed of the vehicle. It can limit how loud you listen to your music, so that way your kids are not partying out in the car. You can make it to where if they want to listen to the radio at all, they have to be wearing their seatbelt. It's got a lot of different things to promote safe driving habits. That's what mach-e is. Alarm system, you can ask on exit. You can just, once again, tweak and tune that alarm system. The remote start setup, this is kind of nice. So you can set the climate control to automatic, or no matter what, you want to use the last settings. Automatic is, in my opinion, the best way to do it. You can adjust the duration of the remote start, and you can also adjust the steering wheel and the heated seats or air-conditioned seats to also come on as well. So I think it's nice they give you the ability to kind of tweak that automatic remote start. Windshield wipers, a courtesy wipe. Windshield wipers will provide a courtesy wipe a few seconds later after the initial wipe has been completed to clear excess wiper fluid from the windshield. Power tailgate, you can either turn that on or off. You can make it a manual tailgate, or if you want it to be the power tailgate, that's where you would change that particular setting. Let's take a look at the lighting. This is kind of something we've already taken a look at, but you can turn on the automatic high beam. The auto high beam works like this. There's cameras in that windshield that are looking for cars that are either in front of you or they're driving opposite of you. And if it sees one of those cars, it'll turn the high beams off. But if you're on a back country road and there's nobody in front of you, the high beams will automatically turn on. If you don't like that feature, you can just simply turn it off. Daytime running lamps, turn those on and off. The welcome lighting, you can turn that on and off. Auto lamp delay, and then also the zone lighting that we have looked at already as well. Now let's take a look at the locks. You can turn auto lock and auto unlock on. That basically means that when you cut the vehicle off, it automatically unlocks all of the doors inside of the vehicle. Mislock chirp, switching, let's just take a look at the mislock chirp. Allows the vehicle to chirp or beep twice if a door, the trunk, or the liftgate are not closed properly when you lock the vehicle. Switch inhibit prevents the vehicle from being unlocked from inside of the vehicle. That is actually really nice to have. And then remote unlock, the way that this works is when you hit the unlock button on the key fob, do you want it to unlock all the doors at one time or just the driver door? If you are someone that is concerned someone's going to hop in the vehicle with you, might not be a bad idea to hit driver's door, so that when you hit the unlock button on the key fob, it just unlocks the driver's door and you don't have to worry about anybody else hopping in the back seat. Let's take a look at the mirrors. Auto fold, that is a pretty cool feature. So that way when you come in and you turn the vehicle off, the mirrors on the side will automatically fold in to make it easier to get in and out of your vehicle in a tight parking situation. The door keypad, if you wanted to custom make a automatic door where you type in the code and it unlocks the vehicle, you can customize that number located right here. Low battery, you can actually, and this is something I did not realize Ford gave you the ability to change this, is you can get a warning light saying, hey bro, you're running low on battery. You can change that to 20 miles instead of 50 miles. In a normal internal combustion engine, Ford gives you the only ability is at 50 miles until empty. EV driving history, you can click and hold that and reset that. And if you are running into an emergency situation, the battery's dead and you need to get it on a flatbed, this is not designed for flat tow. This is not neutral tow, but if you need to get it on a flatbed, you click and hold that to initialize a neutral tow mode where you can get the vehicle up on that tow truck. Now let's take a look at this tile, which is going to be your general tab. So you can change your language to English to Espanol, or I can't say French. You can change it from Fahrenheit to Celsius. You can change it from miles to kilometers or whatever the situation is. You can change the unit of measure. You can change the PSI to these different options here. You can see the touchscreen beep. You've been hearing this beep. You can turn that off where it doesn't actually make that beep. That's pretty cool. I like the beep. I like the feedback knowing that I'm actually touching the screen. Reset is the main thing that if you are trading your vehicle in and you want to wipe all the data out of this vehicle completely, you would want to do a master reset. Oop, I don't want to do that because I've already done one. But doing the master reset will nuke this entire system and turn it back into a brand new vehicle, digitally speaking. That's where you would want to do that. Forward Pass Connect reset. If you don't want to do a master reset and nuke everything, but you do want to make sure that people are not able to track you on the Forward Pass smartphone app, you click on that and now nobody can track you in your location. You'd have to repair the phone or the app to the vehicle itself. Going into the display, this is the long way to get into that calm screen that we showed you earlier. Pretty simple, isn't it? You can adjust the brightness of the screen located right here. I like it bright. And you can set it to either light mode, always, even at nighttime, dark mode, always, even during the daytime, or you can set it to automatic. I think automatic is the best way to go because if it's really bright outside, you can have the brighter screen. It's a little easier to see, that is for sure. Going into the clock is exactly what it sounds like. As you can see, we've got it on military time, 24-hour mode. I like to turn that off so you can see exactly what time it is at 5:19 p.m. and you can adjust that time if you want to. Or you can have the auto time update where the timing will get updated automatically. Connectivity. That's a fancy way of saying it, especially since I'm from Alabama. But connected vehicle features, vehicle connectivity, privacy settings, share vehicle data, a bunch of nerdy stuff that most of you guys probably don't want to see, so I'm going to go through it quickly. Bluetooth, you can actually change the name of the vehicle. So let's say if you want to change this to Mitchell's F-150 Lightning, you can do that. You can type in Mitchell's F-150. And I didn't spell it right because I was in a hurry, but the demonstration is there. You can actually change the name of the vehicle. Manage Wi-Fi networks. This is pretty cool because you have the ability to connect to new or local networks. So that way if I wanted to hook up to my home Wi-Fi, I can do that. So if I need to do kind of over-the-air updates, it does do over-the-air updates over the air. You don't have to be hooked up to the Wi-Fi, but if you want that ability to do it through the Wi-Fi, maybe get the update a little bit quicker, that might be a good option for you. Vehicle Hotspot is exactly what it sounds like. You have the ability to turn this truck into an LTE hotspot that I believe is managed through AT&T. You get a specific amount of data usage. You have to set this thing up, and I don't want to do this because I'm not the end user of this particular vehicle, so I don't want to use up their data. But after a certain amount of data or time, you have to actually pay for that feature. I don't know how many people are going to be using the vehicle hotspot because most people have a hotspot on their cell phone that they can use. System updates is exactly what it sounds like. Make sure that's turned to on for the automatic updates. So that way you get the most up-to-date version of the Sync 4A system. And as you can see, it automatically went through and did a check to make sure that our system is up-to-date. Mobile apps, I don't use this very much, but if you have apps that are on your phone that are also compatible with this, you can use the apps through the system wirelessly. I think it's kind of redundant because I just use wireless Apple CarPlay, and Android Auto is also a great option there. Ford Assistant, you can see all of the different commands. You can get some help, like if you're like, hey, I kind of don't know what I can say and what I can't say for Ford's system, it gives you ideas on things you can say, which I think is kind of nice. You also have a wake word as well, so you can set up a different wake word to where if you say that, it will automatically summon the voice activation. So watch, both of my hands are right here, so you know I'm not cheating. Okay, Ford, Octane.
Tuning to Octane.
How cool is that? So yeah, you don't have to have access to the button on the steering wheel if you want to use. It's very similar to Hey, S-I-R-I. I don't want to set everybody else's phone off. But that's the same kind of a principle, but in your Ford vehicle. Advanced mode is for those people that are really familiar with the voice commands, and you don't want the long explanation every time you summon the Ford voice activation. It kind of shortens up the menus because it assumes you already know what to say and how to say it. Phone confirmation. That is basically, it confirms the contact name before making the call. That's probably not a bad idea, so that way you don't, you know, say, hey, call so-and-so, and then it accidentally calls your ex. That would not be good. But anyways, voice command list, you can turn that on and off as well. And then ambient lighting, once again, a lot of this is assuming your vehicle is equipped with these particular options, but you can turn on the ambient lighting is the lighting, the underglow, the lighting inside the cabin that is ambient, just to try and kind of give it a nicer, fancier look at night. So that is it. This is the detailed look at all of the technology, all of the features found on the Ford F-150 Lightning. This video took a long time to make. So if you can do nothing else for us, hit that thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel with the bell notification turned on so you don't miss a single video. Peace.